I throw fish on the ground and see what they do. But these aren't ordinary fish. These are amphibious fishes. They breathe air and they voluntarily go around on land. For instance, you have the iconic mud skippers that spend most of their time on land, feeding, breeding, and just moving around. Then you have some fish like the intertidal sculpin in the bottom right that if they get stranded in a tide pool and the tide recedes, they may need to move around to get back to the water. And you have fish like the invasive snakehead fish, which will move around from body of water to body of water over land. And most information regarding fish on land consists of, hey look, there's a fish on the ground. There's not much information available on there, on basic information, and I'm trying to fill those gaps. Specifically, I'm trying to figure out how do fish go from point A to point B, both in terms of locomotion and in terms of navigation. I do that through a variety of methods. First, I typically begin with high-speed video analysis to determine kinematics. Specifically, as you can see in the bottom right, I use videos to see how do different parts of the body move as they move along this substrate. How do they physically move? Yeah. And I combine that with electromyography, EMG, where I put electrodes in the muscles to see which muscles are they using in water to produce these movements. And which muscles they're producing on land produce the movements. Are they using different muscle patterns to move on water on land? Since they have an aquatic body that's adapted to work in the water, sometimes they have to do things differently on land, and I'm trying to figure out what they have to do differently. I also do some behavioral and ecological experiments where I will expose these fish to a series of sensory cues to determine what senses to use on land. Since most studies of fish have been on fish in water, I mix this up by putting fish, let's say, in the center of a platform. I expose them to a sensory cue. In this that diagram, I use foil covering one quadrant, and the other quadrants are bare. The circles represent a individual direction of a single fish. The cones represent the histogram of the data, and the triangle represents the average direction. So in this study, in this treatment, the fish move towards foil. They like shiny surfaces. In other treatments, they use different color cues, three-dimensional shapes, things like that, and they use those as cues to move around on land. And this also allows us to infer about fish millions of years ago that these information won't be available in the fossil record. By studying modern behaviors, we can help figure out what they did. Additionally, we can help develop biomimetic robots based on this, fish that are amphibious. And some invasive fishes, like the snakehead fish, can move from one body of water over land to another. By studying how they do that, we can help prevent the spread of them. Thank you.